Yo, what's up? Back to the Smite meta update. As per usual, we're going to start with carry, go all the way over to solo lane, but I do want to mention that I have set up a Discord. If you want to keep up with me and my content, that's the best way to do it. Link down below. There's also some other stuff linked down below if you're buying gems. There's my Nexus, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, enough shilling. Hunters. Similar, but there is some new additions. The Cernanos, the Ishtar, the Manticore, and the Rama are still kind of the top. Izanami's up there, but Hachiman has joined them. Hachiman recently got a buff in the patch. His 1 is now insane. He does absolutely insane damage late game. With or without crit, he does insane damage. His 2 does more damage, so it's more consistent. And his 1 absolutely explodes people. It's insane. This character is very strong right now. And he's a safer hunter, so if you want something a bit more safe and more consistent, you can go with Hachiman. But the build has kind of shifted from the crit build into a more pen-oriented build. Something along the lines of this. Maybe you go 1 crit item, you can go like either a Demon Blade, the Demon Blade, or the Deathbringer. Either one works. But this is kind of your like main build, what you go. Even with Titan's Bane, even if you don't have a big ability that does it, the pen on Titan's Bane is super, super strong. Manticore's build also doesn't have Bloodforge in it, and instead of the Crusher being there, you want to look towards Soul Eater. Soul Eater works surprisingly well in this character. And then you kind of go what the rest of the build had. I wouldn't go the Bloodforge, though. This is kind of like the solid Manticore build. But other than that, though, if you want to go outside those ones I mentioned, you know, Ho Yi is kind of like the only really like good ones. Anyway, supports. We start over here because Nox is fucking broken. This character is absolutely bonkers. If you are good with her, you can prevent their front line from diving your carries. You don't have to combo them every single time. You could literally just throw out a root, keep them still, your carries can hit them, and just kill them. You have a really good silence, and your mobility is pretty decent with your Shadow Step. Your ultimate is also one of the most broken abilities in the game. 40% damage reduction flat for the entire game for 5 seconds for people you hit. It is insane. This character is nuts. You should be playing her if you're a support player. Other than that, though, more traditional sports, Ares Umoja, high skill ceiling. If you're good with them, play them. All right. I've said this repeatedly for quite a few times. Maui's another one that has higher skill, but if you're good with him, play him. Horus, Terra, I would have to go to Warriors for Horus, but Horus, Terra, pretty strong. Ganesha feels decent. Atlas feels pretty decent. Bacchus feels decent. Athena feels decent. Kepri feels okay. You know, there's a bit of a variety. But Horus is definitely your best warrior support, and honestly might be the best support for ranked. I'm not sure on that, but he can be super aggressive. You rotate super well. Your healing's on a super low cooldown. You have healing, and you have Prot Shred, a flat Prot Shred. It's really good. Anyway, mid lanes. I'm going to talk about the hunters real quick. Manticore is a really good mid laner. You can play him in mid, and I think he's better in that role than he is in the hunter role, but it's kind of up in the air. Mages. You see, I want to just say, like, Merlin, that sort of stuff. Like, Merlin, Thoth, you know, Hebo, Agni, Baba, all super strong. There's a prophetic cloak build with Baba going around, which makes her super tanky. But Janus is another pick that I hate, but I have to talk about him. If you're good with Janus and you could just run around people and do your damage, he can absolutely carry ranked games. You can snipe people from across the map, you can steal objectives with it, you could just straight up kill people right in the face with it. This character does a ton of damage, he moves around super fast, people waste time chasing you when they can't even remotely catch you. Character's strong. Those are kind of like your top ones, I would say. Lefei isn't bad, Chang'e isn't bad. Yu Huang, not bad. You do have quite a bit of variety in mid, you know. Oh, I forgot to mention in support, Aphrodite. Again, Aphrodite's kind of fallen out of favor. She's decent, but she's not great. Because of how Kiss works now, the protection increase, she's still pretty solid. You could still definitely play her, but in rank she's liable to be abused, and she's not as like outstandingly broken as she was before. Sorry, I forgot about that. Again, I always forget about her. Anyway, junglers. Serket, like I said last week, Serket's fucking bonkers. You build something along the lines of this, you can split off into here, or you could just go straight crit, you can go full damage. Serket's crazy. Character does a ton of damage. She has crit in kit. She hurts. It's really it. Susanoo, Thor, Naja, all strong picks. Daji's pretty decent. Fenrir's pretty good. All these picks are pretty strong because the, ability-based builds are pretty strong. Bakasura's pretty good. He can kind of run a map, farm really quickly. Other than that, though, Hunbats isn't bad. Lancelot isn't bad. A lot of these assassins are not bad to play. And if you're in the lower ranks, Arachne wouldn't be bad either. You could play most of these characters and feel good doing it. Solo lane. We have the two. Hercules and Vamana. Solo lane is a problem because auras are too good for supports to give their carries protections. There's two people that can actually threaten them, which are Hercules and Vamana, unless you're going a full damage pick. And then you have Guan, Tyr, Odin, and that's about it. You got those three. Horus is a somewhat, if the player you're playing against knows that Horus can kill you pretty easily, he's not going to walk there, or they're not going to walk up onto you and die to you. But Horus is also a pretty decent pick. You can run those picks. They feel decent, though they don't do as much, damage as Herc or Vamana. Herc and Vamana are the best two solo laners in the game right now. Guan Yu's probably the close third. Then you got Tyr, Odin, Horus, those kind of stuff. Those kinds of things. Excuse me. Hades is still a very playable pick. Full damage. Hades explodes people. It's kind of what he does. Don't really need to explain more than that. In terms of Guardians, don't play them. Most of them don't really do much of anything in solo lane. But Assassins, if you saw my most recent gameplay upload, I uploaded a Kali solo gameplay. I actually genuinely think this pick has some merit. Granted, you hit late game, you are Kali. You are doing the same thing a jungle Kali would do. But in solo lane, you can be a bit more aggressive. You actually have a lot of first blood power because you are putting it directly onto your lane opponent and you have extra pen against them. You do extra damage. You can turn kills pretty easily. Bakasura is another pick that you can play in the solo lane as an assassin. Thor, Kleena, you can run all of those, but your top two are Herc and Vamana. Vamana being, I'd say, the number one. You buy Golden Blade, you ignore the enemy laner forever, and then you beat on their carries in the late game. Kind of what you do. This one's shorter, summarized, but not much has changed, and I don't really want to go into too much detail about it, because honestly, not much has changed, like I said. You think I missed anything, or do you think there's anything I could change about it? Let me know. Other than that, though, like, sub, all that BS, share it. Peace.